Hi everyone, and welcome to Going Over Wrestling with me, your host, Ross. We're talking Raw from the 17th of March 2014. Here to help me do so, I am joined by my kayfabe brother John. So we kick off with a Triple H promo.
Right enough. It seems as if that's probably more than half the Raws in history have started with a Triple H promo, but we got a Triple H promo here.
Yeah, so he comes out, he's giving out about the sort of Yes movement taking over Raw last week, and Orton and Batista both came out one after another to confront him. Batista sort of fluffs his lines a few times, and
I had noticed.
Man, he's wearing some skinny ass jeans. They're not going anywhere.
No.
Batista and Orton are just sort of bickering. Batista's saying that he doesn't agree to the triple threat. This is not what he joined up for. He won Royal Rumble fair and square. He gets his one-on-one match, which is a fair point from Batista.
Yeah.
Orton as well, saying that he's handled Bryan before, he doesn't need to prove it again. Triple H says, is Bryan really getting under your skin? Well, they turn it around and say, no, I think he's getting under yours.
Yeah, which was quite good.
Triple H then alters the stipulations because he's getting a bit fed up with Orton and Batista bickering. He also makes the point that Orton can't win anything without Triple H's help or the authority's help in general, and says, yeah, there will be a triple threat, but it won't be Daniel Bryan against you two, it will be me.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty good, because one of the complaints obviously going into WrestleMania, the biggest complaint was Daniel Bryan isn't getting his title match, but last week after it had been announced that if he beats Triple H he's in the triple threat for the world title at the end of the night, a lot of people were saying, oh, this is too predictable, so you can't please all the people, but I think with Triple H being interjected into it now, so it's a guarantee that the winner of that match is in a triple threat. It puts an element of doubt in people's minds that Triple H could very well be pushing himself into the world title again, but I still have faith that WWE are going to do the right thing.
At least with the new stipulations on there, if Triple H wins, he gets into the title match, because the way things stood before, only Bryan had anything to gain. I mean, Triple H would gain the fact that Bryan's nowhere near the main event, which is what the authority want, but at least now he's actually wrestling for something. He's wrestling for a spot in the main event as well.
Exactly, and as I was saying there, it means that if Triple H wasn't wrestling for anything, then he's losing, so because Daniel Bryan's the only one that's actually got a reason to win that match.
Yeah, exactly. Also during this segment as well, they set up a match for Orton against Bryan in a no DQ match as part of Orton proving that he doesn't need the authority's help. As the segment's coming to a close, Triple H is leaving on that bombshell of the stipulation. Batista turns round into an RKO, which
I thought was pretty good as well, and Randy Orton didn't seem to be able to keep the smile off his face because the fans actually popped for him for once.
Got a reaction. New heights for Randy Orton there.
That's right, he must be thinking that Hawk was standing next to him.
So, after we come back from the break, we've got Renee Young backstage with Batista. Batista's actually leaving, so he's got his jacket on, he's going home. She asks for a few words and he says, coming back here was a big mistake.
He does, and I take it he was going to the laundry to pick up another pair of skinny jeans, because he seems to have an incredible amount of pairs of these things that he keeps putting on week after week, and those dodgy tracksuit tops that he's got on. I mean, I thought they had a dress policy in the WWE.
Doesn't affect him.
It doesn't, because I mean, he is promoted as the animal, I suppose, but he's still reasonably well dressed.
So the first match Raw is the Real Americans taking on the Usos. Titles not on the line.
Yeah, titles not on the line. And to be fair, in this match as well, I thought they were going to be teasing more of the breakup angle between the Real Americans, but they didn't seem to do that.
No, we didn't get any of that really. They're both quite audible, Swagger and Cesaro in the ring, where you can hear them saying like, come on Cesaro, come on Jack. They're sort of supporting one another.
What I'm thinking actually when I was watching the match is that, okay, they haven't teased any dissension between them right here. What I'm thinking is are we going to get in the Battle Royal, the Andre Memorial Battle Royal, that one of them is going to eliminate the other, and then the other one's going to pull the other one out over the top rope or something like that.
Spot.
I hate that spot as well, but that's what I was thinking.
So I noticed in the match as well, we don't get a Cesaro swing then. It's just your average Raw match though. Comes to an end when the Americans are on opposite sides of the ring on the outside. The Usos go to hit topes to each of them. So one of the Usos hits one to Swagger, as the other one's going to jump over the ropes to get Cesaro pops up onto the apron, hits a European uppercut, straight in the ring, gets the neutralizer and the 1-2-3.
Yeah, that's it. And I know we were speaking off air about spots of the night, but you just reminded me that probably was a spot of the night for the
uppercut from the outside.
Uppercut from the outside, yeah. So
that was awesome.
That was good.
So you're saying no dissension between the Americans though, but on the camera when they're celebrating their win, I did notice that Cesaro goes for a handshake, but Jack's not actually paying attention to him. It kind of just looks awkward. It's not an angle, they just obviously not paying attention to one another.
Jack wasn't paying attention, neither was I, unfortunately, because I missed that.
I noticed it. Okay, so we've got Kane backstage giving the Shield a sort of dressing down here.
Yeah, so Kane's basically saying that he's needing them to be the United Shield because the Authority needs them and they need the Authority, basically.
Yeah, and the Shield say that they're on the same page and they are united.
Yeah, and that they're going to do what's best for business.
So back at ringside we've got Hornswoggle. They've brought him out of the woodwork since it's St Patrick's Day. He's giving out Irish stuff to the audience. I don't really know what he's giving out. It looks like green wristbands and the like.
Yeah, probably some of the John Cena merch that didn't sell.
So Bad News Barrett comes out to deliver some less than stellar bad news.
Yeah, that's it. The bad news would be if that machine broke actually when he was stuck up there.
Yep, although it did break at the Rumble where he couldn't get it up, so to speak.
He couldn't get it up, but I prefer if he couldn't get it down.
So after that segment then we've got Sheamus coming out. He's one-on-one with Titus O'Neil. A pretty nothing match, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that the big deal Titus O'Neil is going to be forever now known as the Raw Deal Titus O'Neil, because they put the ginger beard man gimmick on him, so he came out looking Irish. I suppose that's what he was supposed to be doing, but yeah, he's getting the Raw Deal. Another one of the breakups. I mean, how many breakups is there currently in WWE that's either been...
We're working a few. We've got another one coming later on in the Raw tonight. Yep.
Unfortunately for Titus, he's going to get lost in the shuffle because it was probably the wrong time for it, but I know that some of them backstage are high on him, but we'll see. They should stop putting him in comedy gimmicks because he's a big guy and should probably be pushed seriously if at all. There wasn't really too much to the match, to be perfectly honest.
Sheamus wins the match with a brogue kick.
Just after that, Renee comes in to interview Sheamus.
During the interview segment, he nominates himself to be in the Memorial Battle Royal. Christian's on commentary during this match and Christian doesn't like what he hears here, so he gets in the ring and sort of blindsides him. Ends up hitting the kill switch on the outside. That was a continuing their feud.
There was a couple of funny comments by Christian ripping into JBL in commentary, saying he was like a David Spade in a fat suit.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And if he had been punched in the chest of JBL, he'd got the 10 bells or whatever it's called, that Sheamus move, that he would lose his arm and his fat. The other thing I would like to point out about that match though is that Renee Young apparently has no awareness of personal space, because how close did she need to be to Sheamus to hold that the microphone up to him?
She does it all raw, right up in your grill.
Yep, that's it.
So we've got a Cena promo here. He's basically putting over that he's scared of Bray Wyatt. It's no matter because he is Super Cena and he's fighting for his legacy. As Bray appears on the Titantron to cut a promo. Pretty cool though, because Bray's dressed in Cena merch. He's got the wristbands on, the John Cena t-shirt. Pretty good. Bray in his promo is just putting over the fact that it doesn't matter if he wins or loses, because he himself has nothing to lose. Cena does. Yeah,
that's it. I thought that Cena was probably the most scared guy I've ever seen, right enough, during his promo, but I'm not calling into question his acting skills, well maybe a little, but in general for building up the match it was fine, but it was just more of the same really. It didn't really add anything until they get physical again. That's what we're waiting for, but they've still got a couple of weeks.
So up next then we've got Orton against Daniel Bryan in the no DQ match.
So Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, as everybody knows, have wrestled 5,000 times in the last 4 weeks.
Not really much else these guys can do.
They can't, no, but they did go out there and they did do, well they had a good match. It wasn't terrible or anything like that. It was a good enough solid match. A
safe match as far as a no DQ on Raw goes as well. They didn't really do too much crazy stuff, too much hardcore stuff.
They didn't, because that was being saved for something we'll get to a bit later on.
Yep. With the match itself then, so it's the usual back and forth that we've seen from these guys before. Randy works over Bryan at one point with a kendo stick that he finds from under the ring. It's quite good when Bryan finally gets a hold of the kendo stick. He does his repeat kick spot to the nailing opponent, but when he's doing the kicks he's alternating between kick, kendo shot, kick, kendo shot. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
We get a lovely superplex by Orton. The finish of the match comes when Dave Bautista comes back. Swerve, he didn't really leave, so he pops back in the ring, hits Randy Orton with a spear, turns around and gets the running knee from Bryan. Bryan covers Randy Orton and once again pins the champion. Yeah,
so what they were basically trying to educate the fans with there was that could happen, that Batista could lose the World Heavyweight title match without actually being in the match, and he could do the damage on Randy Orton to have him beat, and that Daniel Bryan could steal it from him. So it was basically just to try and reinforce the triple threat.
Yep, quite good. But after the bell, Bryan picks up the win. He scarpers up the ramp to the back, leaving Batista and Orton in the ring. Batista Batista gets his own back on Orton by hitting a Batista bomb on him.
Yeah, that's it. So it was showing again that each of them, or neither of them, are getting along, so to try and push the triple threat again.
I would say one thing about the closing segment of the match though, when Bryan hits the running knee to Batista. I don't know if Batista doesn't turn right or he's not stooped enough for Bryan, but the running knee just looks awkward. It's more like a shin.
It does, it looks a bit weird, and the last time he did it wasn't so noticeable this time, but the last time he did it to him, it must have been either on SmackDown or the last Raw, where he did it, he landed flat, and so did Daniel Bryan sort of land on top of him, and I was thinking at the time he's going to end up breaking his ankle by landing on him there, but it was sort of strange. But it wasn't quite as bad as that there, but it does, you're right, it looks awkward.
So we're back from the break then, and we've got Paul Heyman coming out to cut a promo. The promo is basically just putting over the match at WrestleMania between his client, Brock. I can't do Brock Lesnar. So we've got that. Putting over the video package.
He shows the video package. He also, during the interview, he's talking about how he's seen how close that the last opponents have been, and that Brock Lesnar has beat all his last opponents, but CM Punk was glaringly missing from it. So obviously the promo in Chicago was just a one-time deal that they were going to acknowledge CM Punk. Yeah, because the video package shows some of Undertaker's more recent matches. So it's Triple H twice, Michaels twice, Mark Henry. Absolutely no CM Punk in there. Yeah, and I've still got no recollection of what WrestleMania he wrestled Mark Henry at.
No, it's not one that sticks in my memory.
I think I must have blocked it out.
Yeah, when I watched it I was thinking, oh, alright, okay, fair enough. But also after showing the video package of The Undertaker, or during the video package of The Undertaker I should say, it goes from The Undertaker beating these guys at WrestleMania to showing Brock Lesnar beating these guys up. So he's got the match from SummerSlam, showing you highlights of the match from SummerSlam against Triple H, a random F5 on Michaels. I couldn't pinpoint where that was. Michaels in street clothes though.
It was from that angle during the Triple H Brock angle, because Brock broke, in inverted commas, Michael's arm as well as Triple H's.
That's right, and also showing you the more recent footage of Mark Henry getting F5'd onto the table.
Yeah, so we know why that was done then.
Yeah. Finally, to question it a few weeks back on the show.
Yeah.
What was the point in jobbing Mark Henry?
Yeah, that's it, but that's obviously why.
Purpose of a video package.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so we get a Hunter and Steph promo from backstage. They're in the locker room. There's a bit of tension between them because Hunter is saying that he wants to go out to the ring to face Bryan one-on-one. He just wants to talk to him one-to-one. Yeah, and get a couple of things off his chest, and obviously Stephanie rips into him because Stephanie has to get the last word on everybody, including her husband. Yep. And starts telling him that he says that I'll take care of it, and she says you better, because Daniel Bryan had embarrassed her and her family and all the usual stuff you would expect from a Stephanie promo. So the next match on the card is Fandango versus Goldust. Goldust is coming out to the ring. He's accompanied by Cody, and they're doing the Fandango entrance, so him and Cody are sort of dancing their way out to the ring. It was quite funny. The match itself hasn't really got a lot going for it though, although one spot that you did notice right away. Yeah, exactly. When Fandango has got a hold of Goldust and he goes to deliver an elbow to the back of his head, he manages to hook his arm right round Goldust and catch him right on the temple. Yeah, he's busted open Goldust, although not a lot, but there is a cut on his temple. Yeah, there is a cut in his temple, so pretty unsafe from Johnny Curtis. Yeah, straight away though, Goldust is looking quite dazed. They do a spot where they're both on the ground, and as Goldust is trying to get back up to his feet, he's back up onto his knees, he sort of wobbles and sort of falls back down. It's not a sell, and it looks legit actually. It does, it looks as if he lost his bearings there for a time. Yeah, Fandango also goes for a suplex here, and I don't know what happens. I don't know if Goldust has dead weighted him or if he's just still dazed from the elbow, but he doesn't give any lift into the suplex, and they both sort of just fall into one another. Yeah, at first, when I first saw it, I thought Goldust has sandbagged him, but when he pops back up and goes right back to the spot and they do it again, so I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Goldust... Miscommunication with jumping, or...? I think it may have been a miscommunication that he didn't actually... that Fandango didn't actually tell Goldust the spot before he tried to lift him off his feet. And Goldust is a big dude. Yeah, that's it, and he's not going anywhere unless he cooperates. So Curtis, or should I say Fandango, goes for his leg drop off the top rope, misses it, and Goldust picks up the win. Yeah, he does. And then just after the match, Cody's coming in to try and help celebrate with Goldust, and Goldust has completely lost it by this point. He's having none of the celebration. He's kicking the turnbuckles, kicking the ropes. He actually storms over the ring to try and get outside to Fandango, who's outside with Summer Rae. It seemed to be... It looked legit anyway. Well, it was legit, but it looked as if he was going to do something unprofessional, which would be a bad idea, because if you can't do business, WWE won't keep him around for too much longer. But he was genuinely furious with Fandango. It's just an odd one as well, because he waited till after the bell and then gave out right in the ring about it. You think he could have maybe waited to go backstage, because he didn't light up during the match about it at all.
He could have went the New Jack route, where he's standing behind the curtain with a police baton that he was waiting for.
The less said about New Jack, the better.
Dances with Dudley's was going to get a tank in that day.
Kane's making his way out to the ring. He's done another one of his thorough investigations on behalf of the Authority, and he's decided that Daniel Bryan couldn't have orchestrated the Memphis Raw takeover by himself, and who better to help him but Memphis's own Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah, to be fair though, JBL had planted that seed in the week before Raw, by saying that who do we know from Memphis that could have helped here. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking, oh, look at that Michael Cole. That's all I can think of when I say JBL.
Wow, Michael Cole.
What is it, Michael Cole?
What do you call that, Michael Cole? Right, I'm stopping that because it's fucking annoying.
Yeah, enough JBL stuff.
Right, okay, so...
Yeah, so they had actually planted seeds for this the week before with JBL saying that who could have helped.
At this, the Shield comes out and they sort of surround Jerry at ringside while he's talking commentary and sort of make him get up and go into the ring.
Yeah, so the whole thing with that was strange was that Jerry Lawler has been called into the ring, but when he got into the ring, I know you'd said to me off air about it that he didn't look scared at all, and nobody bought that Jerry Lawler was going to get anything done to him. I mean, he did die on live TV, so nobody believed that there was anything physical going to happen, but it still came out sort of strange.
Yeah, so the Shield have got him cornered, and Rollins has got the microphone then, so he's saying, yep, they're going to do what's best for business, and then all three members of the Shield sort of turn away from the King and slowly turn and face Kane. So Kane is obviously not got the mic anymore, he drops the mic, but you can hear him picking up on the camera, he's saying, what you doing, think about what you're doing here. And then the three members of the Shield surround Kane and commence a beatdown. Although it was quite interesting to see Kane looking not scared but looking out of his element, because you never really seen that, especially when he had the mask on and stuff like that. Kane was always the monster, but here he's just a guy in a suit.
Yeah, he did a good job here, Kane, I thought, and
he did look quite worried when they started surrounding him.
Yeah, he did do a good job, and of course he did fire back a little bit, and
got some offense on himself
because he hit Seth Rollins, because Rollins was saying something like try and hit me again or take a swing at me again or something like that. So the way that was being done is, of course, it's changing rather the Shield to being more babyface. Yeah, so there's still a Shield from Injustice, but they are now protecting us from the actual injustice of the Authorities.
Yeah, it's actually quite good. It's an interesting to have a group doing that are faces and not heels for once, although it may lead to faces getting help when they don't need it.
Yeah, which obviously makes a babyface look weaker, so they have to be careful how they do it, but it seems as if they're looking to position them as babyfaces, and one of them is going to be getting the major heel push out of it when they do eventually do the break, because Caesar, or you get more heat technically if a babyface turns heel rather than the heels just being heels and one turns babyface.
So next match on the card then is AJ and Tamina versus the Funkadactyls.
This would be breakup tease number 524 from WWE over the last few weeks.
Yep. So just a very nothing match though, although the only cool thing in the match is Naomi wins the match with a split-legged moonsault, which actually looks decent. It's not the best, it's not as good as like RVD used to be or anything like that, but it's still pretty impressive, and gets the win. Yeah,
she is pretty athletic, Naomi, and she did have the eye patch on as well, so that's
still selling that injury.
Still selling the legit fractured orbital bone.
I actually forgot about that temporarily, thinking, is she working a pirate gimmick or something like that? Is Jean-Pierre Lafitte back?
So we're going to get a one-piece crossover gimmick going here for the kids, since they were advertising that cartoon as well. So
after the match then, AJ sort of gets in Tamina's face saying, like, where were you? Every time you're at ringside I lose. Tamina fires back by pushing AJ onto her ass.
Yeah, it was pretty much a nothing match. It was just to tease dissension again between AJ and Tamina. If AJ keeps losing to different people, I'm not really sure what it is that they're trying to push here. Maybe a multi-women match at WrestleMania, that's what it seems to be, because the Bellas were on commentary for that match and managed to say pretty much nothing. It was basically a push for Total Divas, which just started on Sunday there again. The only cool thing about the Bellas being out there was that Brie had a t-shirt on that said "Just Say Yes" on it, which is probably a better t-shirt for Daniel Bryan than the stuff that they've come up with for Daniel Bryan. So the next match on the card then is Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, I was going to say Big E Langston, but he's just Big E now, Big E,
and Mark Henry versus Ryback, Del Rio and Sandow.
So yeah, this was just another one of those multi-person matches thrown out there with
just filler, really. That's all it was.
Yeah, just filler.
And the only sort of real angle that they're working here is everybody in this match will be in the Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Yeah,
so the only secondary match that they've been pushing, because they've got their main event matches, of course, for WrestleMania, but the only secondary match they've been pushing is this Andre Memorial Battle Royal. So So I'm hoping that's not all. I'm hoping they'll have another couple of matches on the card.
But they still push it as a 4-hour spectacular. So
yeah, you would hope there's some other matches. You know, the Usos will probably have a tag title defence, but whether that's on the show or not, I don't know. Well, with the pre-show thing.
Yeah, they need to sort of pad out the card a bit more, but maybe in the coming weeks, because the Shield have not got anything to do yet. So
yeah, they've still got a couple of weeks. So the Shield will probably be working some sort of angle with Kane, I would imagine.
There is a spot in this match though where Big E and Ziggler help clear the ring, but there's no mention of the fact that it's Big E and Ziggler back together again.
Yeah, that's right. Although in commentary, what they did do a good few times was try and push Ziggler. They actually said maybe he's ready for another world title run, or words to that effect.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping so, because I was a big fan of Ziggler before, and now they've kind of buried him a bit. But I'm still a Ziggler fan. He's still a good worker.
Yeah, he's a top worker. He's one of the better workers in the company, and if they give him a chance, he can get over because he's done it before.
The only other thing that happens in this match that's worth talking about is at one point towards the end, when it's all breaking down, everybody gets thrown over the top rope except Big Show and Sandow, obviously playing off the over the top rope gimmick there.
Yeah.
And Big Show hits a choke slam to win the match for his team.
Yeah, so Sandow, maybe people were thinking Sandow's going to get a big win here because he got, jobbed out on SmackDown, or destroyed rather, by the Shield, and because of last week's antics with him with both shovels, and it turned out that he was doing the job again, unfortunately.
Up next as well, we've got Batista backstage, and he says that he never left, he never quits, and he will win the belt.
Well, he didn't mess it up, so I suppose thumbs up.
Yeah, well done for that, Dave.
Yep.
So the next match is more or less a squash match then between Bray Wyatt and Kofi Kingston. There's very little offence for Kofi during the whole match here, and Bray wins with Sister Abigail. Nothing really to the match at all.
Nothing to the match at all. It's mainly just to push just how much a monster Bray Wyatt is, I think, because Kofi Kingston got destroyed.
Yeah, seems so long ago now that he pinned Randy Orton on Raw.
Yeah, that seemed to lead nowhere, so, maybe we should start calling him the Raw deal.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Triple H. He opens and closes this episode of Raw.
Yeah.
So he comes out to the ring.
Calls out Bryan because he wants to speak to him man to man. So Bryan duly comes down, but one of the things I would note about this is Daniel Bryan has never given a microphone at any point because it's not his time to speak.
So with this, Triple H basically puts over the fact that everything that he's done to Daniel Bryan, i.e. screwed him over all these times, that a lesser man would have walked away. I think a jab there at CM Punk.
Definitely a jab at CM Punk, and the fans there picked up on it as well by giving the obligatory CM Punk chant.
So after that, he says, "May the best man win" at Mania, and goes for a handshake, but Bryan doesn't. Yeah,
Bryan says no, and we get a no chant. We haven't really spoken about the heat of the crowd so far, but they weren't too bad for the majority of the show.
Better than last week, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So as Triple H is leaving and making his way back up the ramp, Stephanie comes out and sort of says, "No, like, what's this about? You respect him? No way. This is not on a microphone. Rather, this is just the audio from the camera picking this up." It's like, what's this about? Get back in there and finish it. Triple H is like, no, it's done. Leave it. She asks for the police to come out, and we get a better police force than we did last week.
Well, there was 6 of them this time, but they look like the fakest police I'd ever seen, although this plays into the angle.
So we get the police coming out, they get in the ring, they surround Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's not putting up any of a fight here though. I was
slightly disappointed that he didn't put up a bit more of a fight and just allowed them to come over and handcuff him, and then they were being a bit too brutal with him by putting boots and things to him.
So Triple H has seen enough of this. He rolls back into the ring and he says, like, "This is not what I want, leave him." So the police finally back off. He's like, "Right, get out of the ring anyway. You're not real cops."
Yeah, and then he turns, because it was all a swerve obviously by Stephanie and Triple H to get Daniel Bryan into a compromising position. So there he is lying there with his hands handcuffed behind his back.
So the beatdown then sort of lasts an unreal amount of time here. It was way long.
It was an uncomfortable amount of time, to be perfectly honest. They did do quite a few things, and I know that there was the unprotected chair shot around the ring post to the head, but it just seemed to be too much. It seemed to drag on for too long. So the key things that they did, like the chair shot, they could have done that and condensed it a bit more. Yeah, because when they get to the outside, he gets thrown over the guardrail into the timekeeper section. He tries to mount a comeback. He sort of gives a knee to Triple H, which he no sells, and headbutts him a few times,
which he half sells. We get 2 back body drops onto the table,
and one of them looked incredibly painful, the way that his hands were, because he was dropped straight on his back.
Yeah,
where his hands were.
Triple H eventually puts him back in the ring, but slides his head out to the ring post, and that's where we get the unprotected chair shot that you were saying.
Yeah, I think that, I know that a lot of people have said that we shouldn't be doing unprotected chair shots to the head, and I agree with that when it's straight down on the top of the head, compressing the spine, hurting, damaging the neck. But one round the ring post is probably about the safest one you can do, because you can hit the ring post and make it look as if you've hit the head.
Stephanie is just sort of shouting her instructions along this whole time, and Triple H hits the pedigree.
Yeah, hits the pedigree, and then he puts his hand over Stephanie's neck, and I was wondering what he was doing at first, to be honest with you, but he pulls at a necklace that she's been wearing, and the necklace has the handcuff keys.
The handcuffs, yeah. And also we get Stephanie hugging Triple H and kissing, and it's very awkward looking.
Yeah, and they're doing the granny and grandpa kiss.
So Raw goes off the air with them standing over Daniel Bryan while he's lying.
Yeah, so as far as an ending segment goes, I think it was pretty strong. As I said, or as we both said, it did go overly long. In fact, it went so long that I thought that my recording was going to stop because of how long the overrun had ran. But I think it was overly long, and maybe it should have been saved till maybe the go home show, that sort of strong angle. I
was thinking the go home show would have been ideal for this, but they did it now, and I don't know if Daniel Bryan can be on Raw next week. I think if my mind's still old school wrestling though, he has to be off air for at least a week.
He has to. I agree. I don't think he should be on Raw next week to sell the beating, because it was brutal with the chair shots and what have you.
All in all then, what did you make of this week's Raw?
I thought that overall it's a thumbs up show, because I enjoyed the first segment, I enjoyed the last segment as well. Maybe it ran a wee bit too long, but I did enjoy the show overall. There was a lot of nothing segments on it, unfortunately, but overall I would give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, so for me, pretty good Raw here. A lot of filler matches though. It makes you wonder why there was so much time at the end for this Bryan Triple H match though. They could have lengthened the matches earlier on in the show and had a shorter segment. I think it would have been packed more of a punch, so to speak, if it was a shorter segment.
I think so, because you could have got the brutality over like a fast beating rather than a long drawn out thing with what is everybody in the back doing sort of mentality. You're thinking, why is nobody coming out here to help?
So for me, yeah, pretty good show. They've been on a roll of these of late.
Yeah, so long may that continue.
So that's going to do it for this episode then. See you later.
Bye.